Hello, Biafrans. Good afternoon. Here, this is Emeka Livingstone. And today we continue an insight into the general situation of Nigeria. This is part 2. Yesterday, we had to cut short our conversation because we got information that Simon Ekpa was live on air, only to realize later that it was what he had posted. So they were just putting it back there for us to see, but no problems. At least the little we discussed was okay. So today we are going to continue that discussion and insight into the general situation in Nigeria. God bless you. This afternoon, I'm going to have with me Abitombi, who is going to join me very soon. I'm expecting her. She's a freedom fighter, a great Biafran. You do see her posts on Facebook. And also to join me is Prince Ezem Iheanacho, which I expect to join me here. We're going to discuss issues. We're going to look at the economic implications of what's going on, why we must leave. We have gone beyond struggle stage. We are moving towards actualization this time, bringing our arguments to the fore for people to see the need for us to be on our own independently. It's not about cursing or abusing or insulting anybody. We are not there. So there are certain things. Early today, Prince sent me something, and I felt so bad when he sent it because he made sense. He said that all this while the Biafrans, Nigerians who suffered COVID, when they were suddenly asked not to go out because of the COVID, they were not given any prior information to at least store some foodstuff, not as if the economic situation in Nigeria was better. People were suffering. They were struggling. Suddenly, everybody went inside. For more than 6 months, they did not come out because they stayed indoors, fear of COVID. And during those 6 months, how they managed to survive, nobody could explain. Nobody did. And while they suffered, none of these people who are agitating that why are you asking Biafrans to stay 5 days sit at home, none of them asked them how are you surviving. The palliatives that were sent were hoarded by politicians. When the NSAS protest came up and they discovered that there were storehouses, warehouses, loads of food. Oh my God. I don't want any this thing now. No. I can't listen to anybody now. Let me send a message. Okay. Hordes of foodstuff that were stored in warehouses were discovered. Nobody criticized these politicians. Nobody used that opportunity to bring them down. But in this sit at home, we were warned ahead of time, prepare, keep getting food. And yet within this short period, people are complaining. Suddenly they love Biafrans talking and making noise. But thank God Biafrans are observing the sit at home. Beyond that, we want to look at the economic implications of the Nigerian situation so far. While that is going on, I will want Biafrans to understand that we appreciate you so very much. The people who have fought this battle gallantly, that have paid this price ultimately, are you Biafran people. I listened to Okechukwu, who spoke vehemently yesterday. Yeah, Princess Jemmy is here. Let me bring him on camera. Yes, I'm adding Princess Jemmy on camera. I'm waiting for Abitombi. If she comes in, I'll be notified. So, yeah, Princess Jemmy, you're welcome. Good morning. God bless you. It's good you're here. Thank you for coming. I was even going to say something. Let me just put it aside. And let's go straight to business. What we're going to discuss this morning is very, very imperative. And I want Biafrans to listen to what I'm going to put on air. If they hear it, then they will. We are going to discuss from that angle, please. And I am going to make sure that I cut the clip to last only about 10 minutes, so that we get the whole thing. That will begin to make an analysis from there. Okay, so here we go, please.
Azuka, good presentation on the oil found in the north.
Are you hearing me, Prince?
We always complain. We are our own worst enemy. Did you see what you presented? Not 19 northern states. Where was the oil found? In Gongola and Bauchi area. So 19 northern states are putting their hands in it. Is that not what we were telling our job brothers? Come to the table, let us work out a formula. Do you have 15 eastern states? I don't even want to say southern states because you're supposed to include the Yorubas. Did you present your own oil as southern oil? Okay, let us go by the region. Did you present your oil as eastern oil?
Abitombi, please. Request coming in. Abitombi, please. Request coming in.
They created you minority. That's why they control it. But you see their own, they did not create themselves minority. Did you see the Gongola? Did you see the party say, no, no. They allowed all their brothers to put hand. So, northern oil is not minority owned. But southern oil is minority owned. So minority have no say. We always complain we are our own worst enemy. Just like Nigeria today. Hey, Nigeria, God forbidding country. Ask the idiot to give 20 naira to your mom. Ask the monkey that is complaining about Nigeria. Say, please, I have emergency. Can you give this 20 naira to my mom? Once you give him that 20 naira, you call his phone MTN, we start having problem. You call his Glow number, Glow will start having problem. You call your mama say, I have not seen anybody here since last week. But the very idiot complains about Nigeria. The problem with the South is we are too smart. Look at Cameroon. Remember, there was a plebiscite. They asked Cameroon to join Nigeria or not to join Nigeria. They not to join Nigeria. Today, their son is vying for president of Nigeria. Where is the southern Cameroon? They are fighting in the bush because they refuse to join the East. They're too smart. We need to sit on the table and correct our stupidity. That is the core reason why you fail. Yeah, the northern oil should be northern oil because it's owned by majority. They did not present their oil as minority owned. Did you see the Gongola say, Sokoto will not put hand? What did you read for me? You read 19 northern states, right? That's what I had you read. So why are you reading for me? South oil, Niger Delta oil. When we have gas in Enugu, Shell oil in Abakaleke, oil in Ondo, why is it not presented as South oil? Present Yoruba man there, present Igbo man there, present Ijo man there, present Akwa Igbo man there, say, hey, go to Abuja and defend our oil. That's what they did. They are correct in what they're doing. And that's why they run Nigeria. Fulani a minority. Made sure he created peace among all the other ones. You come to Nigeria, you come to South, an Anang man, an Igbo man who is an Igbo man, is only 120 in number. He's insulting the whole Igbo nation of 80 million. It's an Igbo man, oh. You go to Anioma, it's an Igbo man. He's insulting the whole Igbo people. You go to Ika, he's insulting the whole Igbo people. So why won't you be conquered? You're supposed to be conquered. You are not honest to yourself. That's what I keep on talking about Africa. There is nothing wrong with the Northern Oil formula. They should, even after taking that one, come and take the one also in the South. Because they are doing things the way it's supposed to be done. It is you that is stupid. It is you that will reap the benefit of your stupidity. Okay? So please, don't drag me into this north-south rubbish. It is you that is stupid. Okay? You come to the south. Did you present your oil? Let's go by the region. Did you present your oil as Eastern oil? Have you for one day sat down on the table? Oh, I started the boy doing his own. He's doing his own pipeline. What is the other one? He's doing his own pipeline business. While Fulani is giving you 20 naira, you're watching pipeline for them. They're siphoning your oil. They build gas line. They sell to Algeria. And you collect 20 naira. Oh, Igbo, Igbo, everybody Igbo. You think you're smart. Look at the people that are smart. Did you see the Gongola and the party say, me oil, Fulani house? No, they call everybody. Brother and sister, come and they put a hand for the meat. That is how you know a brother. A brother is not from mouth. That's what I keep on telling you people in the south. We are brothers. No, I want to see when you have money whether we still brother. See, they are real brothers in the north. I advise northern Nigeria. Leave Nigeria, you beat the other part of Nigeria. They know how to do things. Can Wike come and sit down? Wike is an Igbo man, but he's telling you he's not an Igbo man. Okay? And now there's a gas in Port Harcourt. Will Wike talk to you again? He will never talk to you. But did you see them? They call everybody. Hey, Sokoto, come. We have oil here. Make gonna sit down. Eshala, they break bread, eat bread, pray to Allah. What can we do? They come up with discussions. Can you do that in your place? Oh, you see you saying south oil. There Niger Delta oil. There's oil in Anambra State. There's oil in Enugu State and gas, coal. There's shell oil in Abakaleke. There's oil in Abia. There's oil in Benin. There's oil in Lagos. There's oil in Ibadan. But even some part of Igbo now is no longer Igbo because they find the tree oil. Come on, kudos to Northern Nigeria. I love you all. Northern Nigeria, I love you people. You do things the right way. They can jealous you people as much as they want to.
Hello, we are going to stop here. And then we'll continue. If you look at... hello, Tombi, are you there? Abi Tombi. Hello? Okay. Prince, you are here with me. Okay, good. If you listen to this man, he's voicing out his frustration, not because he loves the Northerners or the way they do their things, but it's because we have failed to do the right thing. And therefore, regardless of our education, he was telling us that we don't have common sense. We don't have that common sense. And that is why he's saying, let them keep oppressing us. Because we, boasting of our Western education, they, having no regard for Western education, have proved to have used their common sense to their advantage better than us that have a Western education. Let me ask you something, Prince. Based on this man's frustration, what do you think the Western education has done to us so far?
Pastor Livingston, would you mind if I defer that question to the end? Let me make a little observation,
okay,
or try to lay a foundation before I answered that question. I hope you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Now, if you have followed my broadcasts and my thoughts, you would recognize that I had continuously made it clear that we have a problem. That problem, and that we, means humanity in general. But let me bring it home to where we are. And this is why we must, even if we hate or love Mazin Namdekan, we must respect him. You can see why he had been hammering on bringing Biafrans together. This video we've listened to reminds you why Nnamdi Kanu saw it as a primary responsibility of all Biafrans to know who they are and try to make sure they understood why they confused them and divided them. Now, that on one side, I also wanted you to see why I have continuously stated that in humanity, God did not create anyone and left them without. Everybody had been given something to contribute. The problem is that we are suffering from spiritual blindness. And that is why when we find something, we think that thing is not somewhere else, or we think the other person has nothing, or would not find what God has given to them. We forget that we are here to use the little things God has given us to complement one another. That's the second point. The third point I wanted to make, in slight disagreement with the gentleman that spoke, is that I don't think he realized that even the northern module has real fault in it, because these are people who deliberately created poverty and impoverished their people. And they have, no matter how they try to pretend they are all in one, they still believe that some people in their midst are supposed to be subjugated. So in all, you see faults. Now, let me come to the Western education. You know, and I believe you will agree with me, that I have always stated that the education, the academic education given to mortal beings, even though it looks plausible, it has poisonous agents into it. It was created to subjugate. It is like religion. They carry the same poison, okay? Because they are not actually driven by anything to do with what we call complementary, compactable theories, narratives meant for human beings. They were primarily driven from the wild. No matter how colorful and plausible it might look, when you sit down and analyze the theories, the constructs, the modules, you will find that embedded in Western education, in quote, remember, I don't agree with anything West, because you can't have Western world without having Northern world, Southern world, etc. These are all part of the fluke. These are all part of the nonsense they destroyed the human mind with. So the Western education, anyone that subscribes to it wholeheartedly, without first of all being a human being that understands autonomy, understands free will, understands uniqueness that God has given in each, understand limitations and the need to collaborate, to cooperate, to complement. Anybody that does not understand that and immerse themselves in Western education will remain confused, will remain stupid and foolish. And that is what is happening to our people. So when they tell you I am a first degree holder, I'm a master's degree holder, I am a doctorate degree holder, I'm a professor, when they flag that up, know that they have been sold, they are destroyed. When you are a professor and you have the human conscience, you don't even mention it, because first of all, you would know that those that introduced academia, those that introduced alphabet, those that gave you this thing you're bragging with, they did not have any qualifications and they never had any degree. In fact, they will feel insulted if you try to address them as doctors, because these are certificates they made to test your ability in understanding what they are trying to sell to you. I hope I have answered your question a bit.
Yes, to an extent, but I appreciate that. Not as if we deride Western education, because the same Western education that was given to us is the same that was given to the Indians, the same that was given to the Arabs, who are working to build their own nation. The only problem is the application of common sense in the very Western education which we have received. Tombi, you are there, please. Is that right? Abi Tombi.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome to the program. I want you to
Thank you very
look at
much. Thank you.
I want you to look at this your own take, because the man was complaining that we think that we are smart, but it turned out to be foolishness on our part. We are not trying to put down Western education. The people in the north, the Boko Haram, despise Western education, and a lot of them have benefited from it, but their application seems to pay them more than we ourselves. What do you think in respect to this Western education as it affects our lifestyle and how we apply it in our own region, in our own people or country?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, and I'm happy to be on set with you again. And greetings to you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Prince, for being in this place. My take on this is actually, I would look at it from different dimensions. And there's no straight answer to that question, because thinking about it, your head will actually be full. You'll be wondering what exactly is the problem. But I see it as an identity crisis. I think we have an identity crisis, and that is the main issue that we have as it is right now. Yes, other people, just like you mentioned, the Indians received the same Western education, but I want to think that the way we embraced it, along with religion and what was sold to us in this part of the world by the colonialists, we embraced it wholeheartedly, and they succeeded in making us to think what they want us to think, the way they want us to see things.
Yeah.
We started seeing things just the way they want us to see things, the things they want us to learn. And in course of that reprogramming, we seem to have dropped almost everything that we had. We are smart, yes. There's no doubt about that. Very, very smart. But in that smartness, there's identity crisis. And this identity crisis is part of what has affected even for us to know who we are. And that's where you see people denying who they are. They are not sure because they've been told they are this or they are that, or from this part or that part. And so people actually, you just see them denying who they are. And the same way, they embrace what it's not. They embrace what is like mirage. They can't even hold on to it, but they have embraced those things. And so you will see that the things that we would have done with common sense, the things that we would have achieved because we're smart, because when you look at our achievements, look at Biafrans all over the world, look at their achievements, look at what they are doing in different walks of life, very successful. But then you begin to wonder what is happening to them, that they are not able at the same time to understand what belongs to them and how they should have what they should have, and not to drop everything just as everything has been dropped. Almost everything has been dropped. And so it becomes a very big problem. The culture has been dropped, and we begin to pick things that are not of priority and things that we shouldn't hold on to, especially some of the things that the religion. I'm not talking about Christianity now, because people need to understand the difference between Christianity and religion. But what religion sold to us also in this part became a problem. Now, when you look at the other people in like the northern part of this country that are holding on to Islam, and they do not value Western education, you also realize that their culture is intact. Their culture, and so they know who they are, they hold on to it. But over here, we have dropped both the culture, we have embraced something else, and we're practicing something else, and it has affected and blooded people to understand who they are. And that has become the big crisis that we have in being able to manage the education that we have received, which would have been very positive in us being able to separate and do what we have to do, achieve what we have, and that would have taken us very far by this time. But that is not happening. And so you find somebody in the Niger Delta say, I am Niger Delta, and so I am not Igbo, and the person is speaking Igbo to you. You meet this other person, says, I am South, and the person is speaking Igbo. What's your name? The person's name is Igbo name, and the person says, no,
I think we've lost her.
Yeah, I think we've lost her, but she's going to come back. So, Prince, you can see, because I know you have something to add. You have something to add to it. As you can see, there was something she identified. She said, we seem to have lost to identify who we are. We've really lost it. The same education came to the Northerners. They benefited from it, but they did not. They also applied their religion, but they did not allow them to lose their identity. So they exploited the education, brought in the religion to their advantage. Are you following me? So what do you have to say, in respect to what she said?
If you had listened to me attentively,
Yes.
you would have heard me say, that we lost it because of the fact that we married into these ideologies that were wrong without paying attention to our human side, who we are.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Human side simply, it means your identity. In fact, when you said that the Asians received the same education, I slightly differed, because they did not. They held on to their culture. And not only that, let me be very frank with you. There are certain curriculum given to Africa that weren't given to the rest. When you look at, that's why I told you that in Biafra, we're going to change the curriculum. We're also going to make sure that it is relative to us. In Africa, we were being taught things like parts of an insect, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You ask me, have you ever eaten an insect? Have you ever operated in an insect? What is the benefit of that? When in other places, you are being introduced to how to make your garden work, how to create food, multiply food. We are being taught, even to the extent that we were now told that if the things in our backyard were discovered by outsiders. Now, and I don't blame only Western education for that. It is still to do with our own foolishness, because we had people like the founders of Nigeria, in quote, who subscribed to the fact that Mongo Park came and discovered a river in our backyard. We used it to formulate our curriculum. So please, it is the loss of identity, the loss of culture that finished us off.
That's right.
Okay, and I have to maintain, and this is not deriding academic education.
Exactly.
There are things good in it, but it was also poisoned for Africans. And sadly, Africans bought it wholesale, and that is where our problem lies.
Yeah, you said it earlier on. It's just that I didn't make mention of it. I wanted to hear from Tumbi, then trying to make you comment on what she said but you said it earlier on that we seem to have lost our identity. We just took in what they gave to us, hook, line, and sinker, forgot ourselves. And that is quite unfortunate, because that is the reason why we went to university in Britain or in America, imbibed what they wanted us to imbibe, forgot where we come from and what constitutes us. And therefore, we saw ourselves as being privileged to relate with them.
Yes.
And then lost every value that we have for ourselves. Invariably, we turned out to be their slaves.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Just 1 minute so that we can go to the next one.
Just a minute here. Do you know that in Igbo land, we had the best principles for life? What actually betrayed us was because we did not formulate written theories backing what we were practicing. Now, because we did not have anything documented, those that came with lies and can show us pictures where human beings evolved from apes, convinced us that what we had on paper and we can see it.
Exactly.
Better.
That's
But proceed.
good. Thank you. Thank you. Then, there's something, as you're just talking now, it provokes something in my mind. I want you to look at Biafra during the war. Under strenuous circumstances, the Biafrans were able to produce armor tanks, shore battery, bombs that kills in droves. Do we still have that capacity now? If Biafra is to stand by, because I understand part of the fears of most Igbos, even those in diaspora. I met one of them 2 weeks ago, or two of them. They were saying, these are people I respect. But after that time, I began to doubt the credibility of their intelligence. They were saying that the Biafrans are landlocked. Biafra is a landlocked place. And how can we survive all by ourselves? So I want to ask you a question, Prince, before I come to Tombi. Do you think we have the capacity of ingenuity in terms of technology to be self-sustained?
My dear brother, I thank God that you really went back to history in terms of that war. Do you know that we fought against the whole world?
Yes.
The world fought against us because it included Russia, spearheaded by Britain. It included America, because wherever Britain stood, America stood.
Exactly.
Do you know that their biggest fear, okay, let me ask you, do you know why they had to shut down all the mechanical departments, especially the one in Nsukka, because they believed that that was where the Ogbunigwe. They could not subdue Biafra. They had to introduce food blockade as a way to stop Biafra, because
exactly.
they could. And their fears were that if Biafra could do this, and if they were allowed to do what they are intending, that Africa will be liberated. So they had to come. That was a world war. Forget about the fact that they didn't call it a world war. The whole world gathered to subdue Biafra. But let me tell you something. That ingenuity is still with us.
Thank you.
And they can't steal it. Trust me.
Thank you. That's very good. Tombi, let me ask you also. Looking at the discovery of, or do you want to say anything concerning what he said before I ask you the next question, Tombi, please?
Okay, well, I agree with him. The question you asked, if what we were able to produce, the things that we did during the Biafran War of 1967 to 70, if we could still do the same thing today, I say yes, absolutely yes, because the ingenuity of Biafrans is still there. Biafrans are blessed. And so it is right inside there. It's just a question of reviving it when the situation calls for it. I tell you, all of it will come out from inside of us. It's still there.
Thank you very much. You see, Biafrans, have it in mind. We have the capacity to succeed, not survive, to succeed as a nation. Now, let me ask you a question, Tombi. Why is the Western nation against us in this our move for survival or for self-determination? What really is their problem?
All right, thank you very much. I will say that where we just stopped, the last question should be the foundation of the answer to this question. The ingenuity.
Okay, that's right.
Yes, Biafrans are blessed. The land is blessed, not just the land, but the people. The people are special, they are blessed. And when you go back to history, when the colonialists first came to this part of the world, now called Nigeria, that they put together to call Nigeria, you would understand that in the writings of Lord Lugard, he identified that these Biafran species of people, they are too smart, they are too intelligent, they are wise, they are full of wisdom. And so don't allow them to handle, because they are even wiser than we are. That is their testimony. People that were too wise. Of course, before they came, Biafrans were already practicing democracy. And so the democracy that they're talking about today is something that Biafrans were already practicing. And Biafrans had their values, they had rich culture, they had high morality. And so all of this put together, we became like a threat to them. They saw a people that were not ready to bow to them, a people that were not ready to be subjugated, a people that were ready to challenge whatever situation or ideas that they are not comfortable with. They are not ready to just swallow it hook, line, and sinker. And this was what they found opposite with the other people that they met in this part of the world. Whatever they said was yes, they just bowed to it. They didn't care, you know, and so they saw a different set of people. And that is the fear till today, because they know that if they allow us to go, that what we're going to do in the shortest time will baffle the whole world. They know that the wisdom that reside in Biafrans is able to liberate the whole black race, both those in America, those no matter where they are, and also they will become light to even the Asians. And so knowing this, it's like, hey, we have to cover these people. Don't let them go. Don't allow them to be free. If these people are free, they will prove that it is possible not only just to survive, it is possible to even beat the technology that they supposedly, Western world, they have currently. What will come out of these people will beat what they have right now. And that is the fear. That is what is making all of them, no matter how you mention it, you go to UN, like our leader will say, he went to the UN, as soon as he mentioned Biafra, everybody left. They stood up. Anywhere the name is mentioned, they are shaking their heads and saying, no, these people, if we let them go, the end of neocolonialism has come. Because it will be difficult. Yes, we have some countries right now, like Mali and some other countries, that are revolting against this neocolonialism. You know, so, but if Biafra is free, if Biafra becomes independent, Biafra is going to support not only themselves, but the rest of these people in Africa that are under the bondage of these colonial masters. And that is the fear. So I think this is the reason why they do not want to let Biafra go. But it doesn't matter what they do, Biafra is going to be free. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put an icing, a sugar on the cake.
I can't wait. I thank you. Thank you, my sister. You made a lot of valid points. You see, I want to reveal to you and humanity today that Biafrans had the original transcript for humanity.
Exactly.
Like I said, the problem is that we failed to capture it in theory. You see,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, Biafra understood the construct of humanity. That is why no Biafran, no genuine Biafran want to conquer anybody.
Yes.
Or suppress anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's why Igbo say Igbo Enweheze, because Biafrans understood from source the issue of autonomy given to man, the fact that every man can cultivate their own food and grow it and multiply it, and that the food you're given is unique to you, and that you have choices. And God showed us this even from the babies we have, that only a human baby can turn away from the food you put before them until you bring something they feel they want. That no animal can do it. So Biafra understand and understood the autonomy, the choice, the free will, the need for complement and the collaboration in humanity, because each is uniquely gifted with limitations. So that is the way Biafrans operate and operated. But you had people who were coming with animal concept, who believed that mortal beings are here to be subdued, that mortal beings are here to be controlled, even though they can't control their own children.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
These people, I tell you, are mad. They're crazy. They're destroying themselves in the process. Let me be very frank with you, in agreement with my sister, that Biafra and Oduduwa, they are not coming only to liberate Africa. They are coming to liberate Britain.
Yeah.
They are coming to liberate Europe.
I agree.
They are coming to liberate the light.
I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you.
They are coming to shine a bright light. Look, this is the land of the rising sun. This sun will come to illuminate the world. But because they are short-sighted, they are scared. They are fearing the unknown. They don't know that it is going to benefit them. Because these people are sitting on their unique abilities, unique gifts. Because they are focused on subduing others. They can't see what it is they can offer to humanity. They go to work and they say, we're going to House of Parliament, we are going to this. All they're thinking of is how to subdue Biafra. Because they are blind people and we need to open their eyes. Biafra is actually coming to save them.
Thank
so
you.
They need to know this, and I thank you.
You have really hit the point, because I wanted a situation where the comment will be made to the whole world to know that Biafra is coming to open the eyes. Like Tombi also said, not just the Igbos or surrounding nations like Yorubas, but expanding it to the African region, even to Asia, like a light that will bring the white man back into understanding. So now you were talking about the fear of the unknown. That really is the big problem we are facing among our political leaders. A lot of them are afraid to venture into supporting the Biafran struggle because they are afraid of the unknown. That what if we do it? What will be the consequences or the repercussions from the Northerners who have been threatening us? Forgive me, Prince. Let me ask Tombi to take off from here so that you begin to gather your facts to give us another detailed analysis. Tombi, why our people?
I think we've lost her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Prince, I think I will get back to. I think ask you to continue from there. Yes. Tell me, why are they afraid of the unknown?
Let me tell you, and I'm glad you are a pastor, so you can relate to what I'm saying. These are people who are sold to the things their eyes can see. They are idolatrous in nature. They have forgotten that what they are placing above human life are things, first of all, God gifted us. And it is out of the things God gifted us that we recreated money and all these things that are driving them crazy. And they never knew and understood that ideas brought about these things. And because of the richness in ideas, if you allow Biafra to come, money would mean nothing. Money will be everywhere because there will be so much ideas. So these people are idolatrous. They are fixated on this worship of what they can grab. But they haven't asked themselves, what did they actually come into the world with and what are they going to live with?
Exactly.
They're not actually thinking about the future of their generations to come. They are so blinded that, oh my God, you know, the more you get to know about these things, the more you are in pain. So these people, and that I thank God that with Biafra coming, we are thinking about orientation and reorientation for those who are lost. In fact, I was reading a comment here where somebody is saying, but Westerners have advanced many years ahead. Sorry, they have not. They have not. They are claiming to be civilized and righteous. But don't
worry about that. Thank you. Don't worry about that person, because if the person has understanding, he will know that civilization started a long time ago, even from the book of Genesis. Nimrod commanded the whole world under him to build the Tower of Babel. He was a black man. Now, let's put that one aside because he was a descendant of Ham. Tumbi, there is something Prince said now which struck me. He said, you are a pastor. I thank God you are a pastor. Now, if you see it, Tumbi, even members of the clergy are not bold enough to identify with the Biafran project, even if it is glaringly apparent that we should be free and we have the capacity to deliver. What do you have to say concerning this, Tombi? Because you are a born-again Christian too. Tell me, please. Oh, we have lost her. I'm going to bring her back. Don't worry. I'll bring her back. No, she just have to change. She just have to change her location. Tombi, you just have to change your location. Change your location, Tombi. Or or maybe,
Okay.
yeah, change your location. Yeah, thank you. And remain stationary there or static, then talk. So did you hear the question I asked? Did you get the question I asked you?
Yes, I think the question you asked is about our leaders. Or
No,
you could
why?
take that again.
No. Prince, when I asked that question, before I answered, the first thing he did was to accuse me. He said, I thank God you're also a pastor. And that struck a chord in my heart.
You want
No,
accusation.
it's
I
a good
am
one.
glad that you
It's a
can
good,
see where I'm coming
it's a,
from.
it's a good accusation. I like it. I want you to know something, Prince. I identify with the mistakes the pastors do generally because we have all failed.
That's what brought me to you. That's what linked me to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So individually, it's a different ball game, but I have to identify with their sin. And Tombi cannot deny identifying with this sin too. That is why I'm asking you, Tombi, why is it that the men of God, the clergy, don't believe in the Biafran cause, especially from the Biafran extraction, even if they have seen glaringly that this is a possibility and we are fighting a just cause? Why are they still backing up the Nigerian government and the Fulanis?
Well, my answer will be relative. One, I wouldn't generalize that Southeast pastors or Biafran pastors don't believe in the Biafran cause. I am aware, I've listened to a couple of them. I know that there are some of them that are very passionate about this Biafra, very, very passionate, and they are vocal about it. Sometimes it depends on what you have. How loud can you make your voice? What are the channels that you have to make your voice known? Some of them are speaking, but if they don't have the right channels to actually amplify their voices will not be heard much, except we pick up their videos, here and there, which we have watched and listened to some of them speaking out boldly and talking about Biafra. And they believe in Biafra. And there are some of them that we are not even aware of that are praying, organizing prayer meetings for this Biafra project, for Biafra to come. There are some of them that are organizing, they are praying, they are fasting for this Biafra to come. And so I do not agree that the pastors in Biafra don't believe in the project. Now we have some of them that are neutral. They are not saying much. They may believe in it and just watching, okay, let's see if it comes. They will not speak against it. Neither would they be vocal concerning it. That's a different set of people. And then we have the ones that are speaking against it. Some of these ones, some of them, unfortunately, they are compromised. Some of them are compromised along because of the same thing that has corrupted the so-called leaders, the Biafran leaders. What has corrupted them? Money, position, government, politics. They are involved in politics. The ones that are a kind of not talking about it or against it, check them very well. If you check them out very well, they are involved in politics. They are involved. They are directly involved. They are benefiting. They are benefiting from politics. They are benefiting from the corruption that is in this land. They are part of it, a kind of, directly or indirectly, they are beneficiaries of the corruption. And so you find this one protecting what they are getting, protecting what they are eating, protecting the source from which they are eating. The fear of the unknown is, well, we don't know what will happen. Let me hold on to the one I have right now. And it's the same thing that is responsible for even the people that are not supporting Biafra right now. Biafrans that are in government, Biafrans that the so-called elite that are not supporting, is the same fear of the unknown because of what they are currently benefiting. And because of that, they are not able to speak. They already have soiled their hands, and they seem to be, oh, it's better the bird in hand, the one you have in your hand is better than the one you've not even seen. So let me hold on to what I have. So I think when you talk about pastors in Biafra, we have these various categories. That's how I would classify it.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, the people who are more vocal and have access to the government are the ones that have larger congregations that have not identified with the Biafran struggle. Most of those that have identified are in the they don't have much to say. It's just likeable to what happened in the scriptures when God told Elijah, I have reserved 7,000 that have not bowed the knee to Baal. Those 7,000 were committed, but they were not as vocal as the 450 prophets of Baal, or 850 of them that supported Ahab, that took the national front line to speak on behalf of the government, promote Baal worship, were recognized by the government. That's the problem we're having. When you have a situation like this, the voice, listen, what you say to me now may not have much effect to people than when Ibiomir comes out and says it, because it commands a large congregation. And in times like this, it is expected those people who pull the strings and call the shots among the government should be able to be vocal, but they are afraid. That is why when people make this comment, it is not as if Biafrans don't know there are pastors that are praying for Biafra. There are a lot of them. But the point is those who are at the helm of affairs, whom you're supposed to listen to. For example, what's his name? Madbuko. Obi Amsele Madbuko called people to be and prayed for him. They are praying for one Nigeria. Now, these are men that command a lot of authority, respect, and followership. Tunde Bakare, Chris Okotie. These are the people. Pastor E.A. Depoye, W.F. Kumuyi. These are people, if they talk, it will move waves. But like you said, a lot of people are afraid so that they don't touch their ministries, because you don't be double-faced. Some people just keep quiet. But there are those who are outrightly condemning, like the Anglican bishop of the Anglican bishop of Onitsha, or is it the one that suspended Farambaka, the Catholic bishop, or the Anglican bishop
Onaga,
that sold out the generals, Onaga. So these are people who are supposed to speak the truth. Bishop Kuka was able to speak and he found himself in trouble. So these guys might say, let's become wise so that we don't talk. But in the process of not talking, evil continues in the land unabated. And after a time, they are roped into it because politically they are connected. So that is, I don't know what you have to say, Prince. Just Erika.
When you review, do you know that if the so-called religious leaders were to declare sit at home on Sundays, Nnamdi Kanu will come out?
Exactly.
Let me make it clear so we know, okay? And it's the same fear of the unknown, the same fear that has gripped the so-called Western world, that is making them to subdue Biafra. It's the same fear gripping these idolatrous so-called heavy men of God. Then they don't even know how poisonous the word Nigeria is and how criminally and fraudulently it is coined. So they just want one Nigeria by all means in any form, because they want to retain the status quo. They don't know what Biafra would hold for them. That is, like you rightly said, if all these big shots or whatever they call themselves, we are to stop being idolatrous in worship of money, okay? And say, no more, we want righteousness to reign on this land. We are going to now declare sit at home on Sundays, because this man is illegally held, and when one righteous man is held, humanity is held in bondage. Do you know that Nnamdi Kanu will come out the next day? All these secret meetings that Ejiofor was attending, I can assure you the opening prayers may have been said by one bishop or the other.
Exactly. And that brings me to something. You talked about one Nigeria. Right now, we are at the verge of actualizing Biafra. We're moving like a train. And then suddenly you see Peter Obi coming up, advocating for one Nigeria at the expense of the life of his people. This same is applicable to top members of the clergy, advocating for one Nigeria at the expense of the people. Now, I want to ask you something, Prince. How do you see Peter Obi's continuous movement, regardless of all that we have said so far? How do you see him? Because some people see him as a savior to the Igbos. Does Peter Obi sound to you like a savior or a distraction? No. Does it sound to you a sellout?
I see Peter Obi as compromised as Nnamdi Azikiwe was. Okay? And the Biafrans need to really, the problem with Biafrans is that I don't think they know history, let alone remember history. Peter Obi is in the same mood as Azikiwe, who took a lot of money from ACD.
Yeah.
And the British government and the Fulani oligarchy knew about it. You see, what Britain and Caliphate do very well is that when any Biafran is in power, they allow them free hand to commit all manner of fraud and crime. They allow them, they even encourage them so they can trap them because they know they're going to be used them. They're going to use them later on. The same thing that happened with Azikiwe, that Azikiwe was now forced to become an empty bag president because they now threatened him. They threatened to destroy him if he did not allow Tafawa Balewa to become prime minister.
Exactly.
And Azikiwe had to run with it. It's the same thing happening with Obi. Because Obi cannot swear that he did not move Anambra State money into an offshore account.
Exactly.
And that he cannot swear. And these people observed it, and they have a lot holding him. They're holding him somewhere where he now had to, even if he wanted not to, he now had to toe the lines just because they want to destroy the Biafran movement. So Obi is not for Biafra. And the Biafrans need to know that he's playing the same role as Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Yeah. Now, that comes to the next question. Abi Tombi, there is a challenge the Biafra movement is having as of now. If you look at this struggle, the people from the coastal areas don't seem to be responding adequately. The core burden bearers of this thing are those from the Igbo speaking areas. But that shouldn't be the rule, because some of the coastal areas speak Igbo. Now, if you look at Akwa Ibom state, because I know this is a fallout of state regional geographical creation, you know, where they said south, south, and southeast. Nnamdi Kanu made a comment. He said, a man from Akwa Ibom state identifies himself as a south southerner with somebody from Delta, Urubo, Benin. Meanwhile, his nearest neighbor is Aba in the east. He doesn't identify with him. We'll go that far. Do you have anything to appeal to our brethren at the coastal areas? Because before this state creation took place, we were the eastern region. All of us were together. We're working, we have the same culture, the manner of dressing, we eat the same kind of food, we reason alike. We see things from the same perspective. Is there any word you can give to our people in the coastal areas?
We'll keep encouraging.
Yeah, change location.
Can you hear me?
Location and stay where you were before. Yes, yes, loud and clear now.
You can hear me loud and clear. Will keep encouraging. We'll keep encouraging our people. We'll keep enlightening them. We'll keep talking about it. We'll keep teaching. You wouldn't know the number of souls that are won daily as we keep evangelizing, keep preaching the gospel. But I must tell you that this is one of the, is deliberate. What is happening is actually deliberate, is part of the plan or strategy that the divide and rule brought in. It was deliberate from the beginning to when they saw that the people that we were together, when they saw the bond, especially during the Biafran War, and they saw how Biafrans were able to resist Nigeria and the rest of the world, they realized, like in the book of Genesis chapter 11, where God said, wow, these people are one, and because they are one, there's nothing that will be difficult. There's nothing that they cannot achieve. The same thing these people found out, that as long as these people continue to be one Eastern region, there's nothing that will be difficult for them to achieve. And they put it in their plan to divide and to make people to begin to think differently. And even part of it is in the education that we talked about earlier on. And people started losing their identity, started losing their culture. And so this common culture that we had together, doing things together, people started mixing up and throwing away their culture. And at the same time, the divide and rule that divided, that these people, you are now Niger Delta, these other people, you are now, your name is South South, your name is this, you're now whatever name, they're calling different names, keep dividing the people. And that has also divided the mind of the people. And so the people don't see themselves as one. But we'll continue to preach. Like I said, I want to encourage everyone in the coastal region or any other part that you don't think you are one. Like our leader will say, how does your mom dress? If you tie two wrapper, if you look through all of the Eastern region, the women tie two wrapper, double wrapper. You check the food and everything, they are similar. Even the language,
Behavior.
like the Igbo, yes, that we're talking about. You will realize that in different parts, like the part that is River State, you come to River State, majority of the people speak Igbo. Majority of the people are married to Igbo. They do the same thing. They mix up, but when you ask, they say, no, we are not. Because they've been lied to. We've been lied to, and we've been lied to not to understand that we are one. We've been lied to throw away our original culture. And so that this identity crisis, we go back to identity crisis. We now do not understand who we are, that we are one. So as we continue to preach the gospel, we know that we are one, and that's what will bring us together. And I assure you that people are coming. People are coming, and eyes of people are being opened daily. People are coming to understand this.
Thank you very much. One more question for you, Tombi, and one for Prince before we go. And let me start with you, Tombi. This sit at home that we have, does it have any spiritual significance? Can you elaborate on it? Thank you.
Oh, yes, it does. I think it does. I really think it does. And like I pointed out.
And just add up again, after that, answering that question, also answer what is the significance of the death of the Queen of England with the Biafran liberation?
Okay.
I'm asking difficult questions.
Oh, no, they are good. They are good. They're good. They are good questions.
Okay.
For me, the significance of the sit at home, I could draw that back to the children of Israel in the book of Exodus, when before they left the land of Egypt, that God instructed them through Moses that every one of them, before they leave the land, they should all stay back in their homes. That night, the angel of death was going to pass through the land. Every one of them,
you're right.
Yes, every one of them must stay back in their home. Yeah. Anyone that steps out of their home will be consumed. The judgment of God that was released that night will get to that person. And I can also tell you that if there was any Egyptian family that saw what the Israelites were doing, what the Jews did, and went to do the same thing, and went into their homes and used the blood on their doorstep, the same protection that was on them would also come on those Egyptians.
I agree with you.
And the same way, any Jew that stepped out of their homes would receive the same judgment as the Egyptians received. And so this is like the Passover This is like the Passover for us, Biafrans,
Oh my God.
because
Right.
we have been told and we know that we are getting this nation in 2023. And it's not by accident that this is December, the last month, the last month of 2022. This is the last month. And this is the Passover for Biafrans. So it is more spiritual than physical. And it can only take a spiritual mind to understand what this is. And when you understand it, it's beyond, oh, I don't feel like sitting at home. You just know that this is Passover. And you just sit back at home. There's something actually happening in the realm of the spirit. And anybody that refuses, you can see some of the things that happened to people that were heady and stepped out, people that left their homes, people that decided to go and do some other things and did not yield to that instruction to stay at home. People that didn't heed to that instruction, you can see what happened to some of them. Because the angel of death that visited Egypt could be anybody. It could be people that were fighting against the sit at home, people that said that they have men that are going to ensure that they fight those that would enforce sit at home. They have people that will fight the Fulani terrorists, and different segments, different people are out there as angel of death. And those ones are the ones that have visited the people that left their home. If they had stayed home, nothing would have happened to them. Thank you. Okay,
you.
and so the
before you answer the second one, please, I'll just give you time. The key word there was, when I see the blood, I will pass over you. So if the Egyptians had put the blood on their houses, then
yes.
If you sit at home, death will not come to you. If you sit at home, the angels of death come from different shades. It's not just one group of persons. Like Tommy said, different persons. It could be from a Bubago, it could be from Boko Haram, it could be from Dead Man Squad, it could be from Nigerian Army, police, DSS. They're coming to kill. They're coming to kill. Stay at home. Thank you. Go to the second one, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And the second question, please, could you take that again?
The significance of the death of the Queen of England and the time in respect to Biafran restoration.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm going back to the scriptures again in the book of Isaiah. You know, there's the post that I made that very day, because that was what came to my spirit. That very day, I made a post. And that post was where Isaiah said, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. And I made that post. Yeah. I said, in this queen died.
Change your position. Change your position, please. We want to hear you. Dear friends, don't want to lose any single thing you're going to say. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. So I made a post. I made a post that very day because it just dawned on my spirit, that scripture in Isaiah chapter 1, where Isaiah said, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. And it was like in this very year that this wicked queen died. This is the resurrection of Biafra.
Amen.
That was just exactly what it was. That was exactly what it was, because there was so much tied around this woman. There was so much that was tied around her. It's like the captivity of Biafra was tied around this woman because of the role she played, not only in Biafra, but all over the world. The role she played, when you talk about colonialism, when you talk about the ill treatment, it was tied around her. The policies, the evil policies that were made and continued, even when they left the land, that continued, was tied around her. And this very year, she died. And that captivity died with her. The captivity of Biafra died with her. The subjugation of Biafra died with her. And everything that have kept us in bondage died with her. And that's why Biafra will come in 2023. That's the reason. That is why it will come. Because she has died. As long as she lived, it would have continued. But she is dead. And now the light of Biafra can shine. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. You know, she ruled for 70 years. The children of Israel were in captivity in Babylon for 70 years, according to the prophecy of Jeremiah. And before the 70 years came to end, God had visited Jeremiah and told him what to do. Before that 70 years came, in the queen's death, God had visited Nnamdi Kanu to prepare the minds of the people on what to do. And at the 78th year of her death, the liberation of Biafra, the spirit of Biafra was liberated to start agitating, and it's very intense. Now, I'm sure it's symbolic, and I believe that it has some spiritual significance. Prince, what I'm going to ask you is different. They discovered oil in the north, and they said it is northern oil. They discovered gold in Zamfara. It's Zamfara's gold. But the oil in the south is owned by the whole Nigerians, and the principal stakeholders are northerners. For example, the Sultan of Sokoto has 21 oil wells. General T.Y. Danjuma has oil wells. What do you have to say concerning this imbalance?
Well, what I have to say is that it is structural. What you're saying is structural. That is the modality of the British. They own Britain. They own everything. They named Britain. They own it. But they also own Nigeria. And Nigeria belongs to them. That's what they handed over to the Fulanese. Whatever you have is yours. Whatever is in the land of those we have given you to enslave on our behalf is yours. So it is a structural thing, born out of madness, born out of psychopathy, born out of serious mental disorder, where people who are born through the same way everybody was conceived, people who got to know about the existence of this world through just sexual intercourse by two strangers, suddenly decided to begin to own themselves and own other people and own a world they never knew existed. I mean, that's why I keep submitting to humanity. No, that's why I keep submitting to humanity that psychiatry is a fraud against the weak, the poor, and the vulnerable, because psychiatry failed to provide for those who needed it most. And those who needed it most are these lunatics who claim to be civilized, righteous, educated, and obedient. They are the ones that needed it most for believing that they own themselves, they own you and I, they own places that existed before their ancestors came out empty-handed and vulnerable. If this is not madness, then madness and psychiatry do not exist. Trust me.
I want to tell you something, Prince.
Please do.
Based on the things you just mentioned now. Oh my God, this is funny.
It's scary.
Yes. Do you know, you talked about name. Britain named themselves, named Nigeria. You know, the Bible makes us to understand when God created Adam, he made to pass before Adam everything he had created. And whatever Adam named, Adam controlled. So if I give you a name, I control you. I change your thinking pattern. I change the value of yourself. I tell you what you are and who you are. That's why whatever Adam named, the control. Britain named Nigeria and is controlling it. But Britain did not name Biafra.
Yes. Yes.
And that is why we are opting out. Yes. You want to say something? Let me allow you.
If you see my writing, I know why I am steady in the way I write, and I will never back off, because they are spiritually driven. When I tell people that Nigeria, just that word, Nigeria, is poisoned, is evil driven.
Yes.
It's a curse.
Yes.
It went against everything godly.
Everything godly. It went against it.
Now, you see, look, God made it so that even your dog can only take a name from you, not from strangers.
Not from a stranger.
An animal.
Exactly.
An animal will never accept a name given by a stranger.
Exactly.
That's the fact. That's the fact.
Now, but you have lunatics today who are proudly Nigerian.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Lunatics.
Lunatics. India, and that the evil in itself is committed by Britain, because they ought to have known that name is actually driven out of love. Okay? Name is the only thing linking you to your culture, to your identity.
Exactly.
It links you to your heritage. That is
Even
why
your personality sometimes. Even your personality.
No, your personality, your
Let me
spirituality.
tell you.
They're all linked to your name.
Please, forgive me. Let me come in and help you. I just want to add something. See, in Israel in those days, names have effects. They reflect people's nature. When a child is born, they take the child to the oldest man in the family. He looks at the child and calls the child a name. That name he calls that child reflects the nature of that child when that child grows up. He is not prophesying. He's operating in the patriarch spirit, out of love. Now, and when that child grows up, the child begins to manifest the name that he was being called. For example, his name shall be called Judah. Judah means praise. God shall be praised. From the tribe of Judah, God is being praised today because Jesus comes from there. His name shall be called Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth means scatterer of shame. The family of Saul had been shamed, but David had to raise him up to sit on his table so that the shame upon that family will be scattered. His name shall be called Simon. Simon means a reed taken by wind. But Jesus turned it to Peter, meaning rock that cannot be moved. Do you understand me? So his name shall be called Jacob. Jacob is a supplanter, a 419 man. But God changed it to a prince, Israel, that has contended with God, an angel of God, and prevailed. So continue. I agree with you. I just wanted to, make it more pungent.
You were buttressing the point, which is very important, because when people understand the spiritual significance of name and naming, they will vomit Nigeria from their mouth.
From their mouth.
And Britain will remain perpetually apologetic and ashamed for attempting this evil, for having carried out this evil.
It's a big evil under the sun.
My dear brother, can you imagine, okay, going into somebody's home with evil to name their child? Because when a stranger vomits a name onto anything, it places a curse on that thing. When it comes to places in this world, only people who have what we call biological lineage, as well as ancestral heritage, can pronounce a name out of love to that place. That's why go and attempt to go and name a street in London and see what they will do to you. Just a street, not just.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I think we should take that one. Before we go, Tombi, do you have anything to say to our listeners? I want you to give say one thing to them before we go, and then Prince will take over, and then we close. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Great Biafrans, thank you very much for listening to us. I want to encourage every one of you to be positive. I want to encourage every one of you to understand that what we are into is something that is very positive, and we're going to achieve this nation. It doesn't matter the challenges that we face. It doesn't matter the obstacles, the mountains. We are going to achieve this nation come 2023. And so hold on to what you have. Don't be shaken. Don't be troubled. Just be positive. If you're asked to sit at home, sit at home. Whatever instruction that you receive from our spokesperson, Mazi Simon, follow that instruction, because he has said to us he has the road map on how to get Biafra. He has the road map. And so, like a captain of a ship, we have tested him. We have tested him, and we know that he is true. We have tested him. We know he is genuine. And so whatever instruction that a man that knows the road to that place that you're going to, he knows the road to that destination. Why won't you follow him? After all, it has taken us so many years talking about the same thing, and there was no headway. And somebody comes on board and says, I have the road map. Just give me. 2023 is just around the corner. It's just around the corner. So why not? You don't lose anything by
Nothing.
just accepting and obeying and following the instruction. You lose nothing. So just obey and follow the instruction. Whatever he tells you to do, do it. And that's my position. Whatever instruction he gives, I follow that instruction. I believe in that instruction. It will get us to the right destination, and we will get what we've been looking for so many years. The answer is now, and this is the set time. Thank you very much, every one of you, for being part of this program. Thank you, sir. And thank you very much, Prince.
Well done, my darling.
God bless you, Tombi. Before you talk, Prince, I want something to guide you. There was a message you sent to me. Let that be there was a message you sent to me about the sit at home and how you were arguing. It provoked a lot in me. At the beginning of this message, I made mention of it. Can that guide you in your conclusive remarks? Thank you.
Yes, I know I sent you so many messages. I'm trying to make sure I pin it down to the one you are looking for.
The one
Yeah.
has to do with they were asked to sit at home for a few days.
Thank
and
you.
People are trying to prove to them, complain, and trying to show them love them. Yeah, you remember now?
Thank you very much. Yes, and before I go to that now I've remembered. I want to challenge every Biafran right now. I'm not here to encourage you. I'm coming to challenge every Biafran. The challenge I'm giving to every Biafran is to prove to Britain and Fulani that you are a human being that has an independent thought process. That is my challenge to you. And that challenge, you can only demonstrate it by understanding that we are no longer dealing with Oria Neme Holilanya. We are dealing with a time frame that those who have fooled you wanted to make Biafran restoration an indefinite stuff. But for the first time in your history, somebody has given you a year and say it's coming 2023. Now, if you can't see that, and this is someone that the person you call Onyendu opened his mouth and say, listen to this man, follow this man, follow him. And what a stroke of wisdom. It seems he knew what was going to come of him. And it seems he knew that those who were around him were going to be party to betraying him. And they will be the ones that will continue to scatter the whole thing he has built. That he cleverly said, follow Simon. Listen to him, share his videos. He's coming with a different dimension. What a different dimension. Now, I want you to see that different dimension today summarized in the fact that he has given you a year. That means you now have to channel everything and give everything to this year. You must prove that you are human, that the fact that they said you are animal cannot be so. You can't fall. The worst thing for a man is to be pushed, and then they fall in the marked area where they say they must fall. You can't fall where they have told you that you must fall. You can't ascribe and subscribe to the fact that you are an animal. You must show that you have an independent thinking faculty by sticking with Simon Ekpa and going for it. Whatever he says, he's the spokesman. Nobody else is the spokesman. Some fools will say, what has he achieved? Simon Ekpa has exposed the evil. If not for any other thing, he's exposed all the evils, and with documentary evidence. Koro. So I'm challenging every Biafran. Now, moving to the summary that my pastor wants me to round off, I need people to understand one thing, many things, but the first one is that do not forget that those who are revolting about just 5-day sit at home were either the ones or the ones that supported that man-made COVID lockdown that lasted for months. Don't forget that they were the ones that failed to speak and were the ones that hoarded the food, the palliatives. They never cared about your well-being or your life. In fact, they wanted you dead.
Dead.
Don't forget that the people who are screaming now are the ones that are witnessing the burning of your marketplace, burning of your foodstuff. The people encouraging the cows to go into your farms to destroy your crops. The people who are burning down your property. None of them is condemning these evil. They are not, they don't give a damn about your life or your well-being. They are all silent and they're all mute. But just 5 days, forgetting all that Nnamdi Kanu has sacrificed. More than a year now, he is sitting in a place that is not even reserved for animals. He's sitting there not because that's what he preferred or that is what he wants. He's sitting there because of you and me. And before we tell you about this sit at home, you want to put some food in your houses. It's not as if it's coming by surprise. And we know that in this world of wickedness, nobody will ever give you freedom without sacrifice. Nobody in this world, the evil is so much that nobody will ever give you freedom without you sacrificing something. And you are being asked to store up your house and get prepared, because this is part of the roadmap to Biafra, to sacrifice. Even if it's to sacrifice just because of Nnamdi Kanu's unnumberable, uncountable sacrifices. That should be more than enough. But this one is also aligned to your freedom. And you are allowing lunatics to continue to deceive you and play games with your mind. The same people who want you dead are now telling you how much they love you and care for you. Now, I am also challenging you to wake up and use your God-given cognition, which is called thought process, which is independent in each of us. You will see what I am seeing, and you will agree with me that we must all focus on what Mazi Simon Ekpa is doing. Let's all rally behind him and get this Biafra once and for all. The Red Sea has once again been opened. You must take the opportunity and march through it.
Hallelujah.
But I want to warn all those standing against the spirit of freedom, which roots from Chukwokike. You are going to be consumed, just like Pharaoh. Just like Pharaoh.
Thank you. That's a fact.
Consumed. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And please, Biafrans, let me tell you before we close that what happened in Ehamufu, none of your governors made any comment in defense of the people that were killed until Simon Ekpa came and intervened. They are telling you to rise against Simon Ekpa. The 14 youths that were killed in Olu, Hope Uzodinma never said anything, neither did Peter Obi. You are clamoring for one Nigeria. The Fulani man sees you as one of the most stupid, not foolish, stupid persons that have existed on this planet Earth. If you are talking of going to vote. Now, there were 4 different occasions that Nnamdi Kanu identified with Simon Ekpa. Number 1, he commended Simon Ekpa live and said, you should listen to Simon Ekpa and share his videos. He's bringing a new dimension to this awareness. Number 2, Onyendu had a secret meeting with Simon Ekpa and the Duduas. He never called Chike or any of these people to show his confidence in the young man.
Right.
Let it begin to sink into your minds. Number 3, while Onyendu was when he was being rendition at the early stage, he said, give Simon Ekpa a slot and let him run Radio Biafra. These guys refused. Remember, Ejiofor said that Simon Ekpa was mentally deranged by sending him to go and send. Onyendu was mentally deranged by sending him to go and send Simon Ekpa to take over. Ejiofor spoke, told Onyendu to his face, he's mentally deranged. That's an insult. And the information has come to us. Number 4, when Gentle was killed, Simon Ekpa was online with the Joffo talking, and Madubugu was there. It was Onyendu that told Simon Ekpa, make that phone call and talk. So Onyendu had implicit confidence in Simon Ekpa. If you believe in Onyendu as your leader,
Simple.
follow him.
Simple.
Listen to what he has told you.
Simple.
He has given instruction, like Moses told Joshua, fight for me, continue. If you refuse to listen to Joshua, you shall be consumed, because God saw me, and raised up Simon Ekpa. Let us follow him, regardless of his age. If you are a true Biafran, two things await you today. Inside your knowledge, inside your psyche, inside your spirit, that shall judge you at the time of revelation, at the time of giving account. Amen. Number one, Onyendu is in detention because of you and I. Let it be in your mind. Yeah. Love Onyendu. Remember that. Number two, the sit-at-home we are doing is a sacrifice for our liberation. And in respect of the fact that we acknowledge what Onyendu has done, we identify with him in this struggle. As he's there suffering, we are going to join him. After all, it's only 5 days. You might enjoy it 25th December. You might enjoy it 24th. Onyendu has been there for how many months now? Almost 2 years. So let it be nothing to you that you are making too much sacrifice for Onyendu, or you couldn't go. If you stay at home, you shall be preserved from the anger of the angel of death, the angels of death.
Amen.
But if you refuse and rebel, you shall be consumed by the sword, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. And before I go, I'm going to quote Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20. I have quoted it before, but it's a guiding scripture to all of us. You know, some of you claim that you serve Chukwu Kabiama, which Onyendu serves, but you disobey Onyendu, who is teaching you about God. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20 says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. He that hath ear to hear, let him listen. Yeah. What the Spirit of the Lord says. Thank you very much, Tumbi.
Yes.
You're so wonderful.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much. Yeah, Tumbi.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, Tumbi. And my good friend Prince. Prince, you know we're
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're supposed to enter into a meeting. I don't know if our time is up.
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Yeah, we're supposed to be there. So thank you, Biafrans. God bless you. Thank you, Prince. Thank you, Tumbi. We pay the price. We have sleepless nights for you. We have series of meetings, times that would have used to other things. In fact, even affecting our businesses, because we have a focus for the future that the Biafran people will be free. Biafra must be free. Biafra must be free. Biafra must be free.
No compromise.
God bless you, Prince. God bless you, my beautiful Tumbi. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Yeah, we're going to meet again.
Right.
Yeah. In
our
next meeting, I will inform you and the Biafran people. God bless you. Have a nice day.
All right.
Shalom.
God bless you.